Good morning, children and families of EP Stone Church. Welcome to worship this morning. This week we're going to do a song a lot of you are familiar with that's called This Little Light of Mine. We are going to do some slightly different words, so I'm just going to talk through them real quickly with you. First, we're going to start with This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine, which is the verse you probably all know. And then we're going to do Jesus is the light. I'm going to let him shine. And then we're going to end with Everywhere I Go, I'm going to let it shine. And get our candle back out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Think we're ready? Everybody stand up, get some energy.
Get ready to sing, take a deep breath.
Yep. If you've got some instruments that you want to play and you can sing and dance along, and I'm going to do some simple motions if you want to do those with me.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let it shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let it shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good job.
Thank you for singing along. For our devotional time, I thought that we would start a new book, and it is called I Am 40 Reasons to Trust God, and it's Bible stories, devotions, and prayers about the different names of God. It was written by Diane Stortz, and the pictures were drawn by Diane LaFayer. There's a different story and devotional for 40 days, and we're probably not going to do them all, so I'm going to skip around a little bit. And starting this week with the first name of God, the Lord my light. And in Hebrew, we say this Jehovah Ori. So do you think you can say that with me? Jehovah Ori. And it means the Lord my light. So I'm going to share this story, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. Our first story is called A Very Important Question, from 1 Kings verses 3 and 4. God chose David's son Solomon to be the next king. Solomon was a young man when he became king, just as his father had been. One night, after he had been worshiping the Lord, Solomon fell asleep and began to dream. God appeared to him in his dream. "Ask me for whatever you want," God told Solomon, "and I will give it to you." "What should I ask for?" Solomon wondered. "Should I ask for a very long life, or to be rich, or to be famous?" But Solomon didn't ask God for any of those things. "You were loving and kind to my father David," Solomon said, "because he loved and followed you, and you gave him a son to be king after him, and I am that son. But I am young and new at this, so please give me wisdom. Give me understanding to know what is right and what is wrong, so I can be a good king to your people." Solomon's request pleased God. "I will give you wisdom," God said, "and I also will give you what you have not asked for, riches and honor. And if you obey me all your days, I will give you a long life too." The dream ended and Solomon woke up. What an amazing dream! Solomon went to Jerusalem and worshipped God, and then he held a big feast for all his servants. God kept his promises to Solomon. He made Solomon rich, and he made him the wisest man on earth. Solomon helped people solve problems. He wrote thousands of songs and proverbs. He learned about God's creation, including trees and animals, birds, reptiles, and fish. Visitors from other lands traveled to Israel to honor King Solomon and listen to him because he was so wise. So what does that mean? How does that affect our lives today? So I want you to think about things that give off light. When it's really dark and you can't see, what are those things in your house that you can go and find that give off light? And if you have a grown-up in the room with you, I'm going to wait just a second and I want you to tell them some things that give off light. Did any of you think of this? Right? We have a flashlight that gives off light. What about one of these? Does anybody get candles? There's of course light bulbs and light switches that give off light in our home. On Friday there was a thunderstorm and I thought we might lose power at our house. There was a lot of lightning and it was getting very dark. You could see the clouds rolling in and I was starting to wonder where I was going to find a flashlight and where I was going to find a candle if I needed them, because that was what would give light to the darkness when I couldn't see. Without light, we can't see clearly, and we need it to get around. We need light to get around safely, right? And just as light shows us which way to go in the dark, God's wisdom shows us which way to go in our lives, how to make good choices. So Solomon asked for wisdom so that God could show him how to make right decisions, what goals were good for him, what choices he should be making in his life. God was a light to his path. God's words in the Bible teach us what is right, and they teach us to make good choices. So the next time it gets dark and you can't see, I want you to think about not only, a candle or something that might bring light into your space, but also what God's light brings to your life. And if you pray and ask for wisdom to make those choices in your life that are honoring to him. So our verse for this week is from Psalm 119, verse 105, and it says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. We're going to end with a prayer together. Dear God, thank you for flashlights and for candles when it gets dark. And thank you for your wisdom that helps us to make choices when we don't know what to do. In your name, amen. Thanks for joining us for worship. Have a great week.